Good morning. You are listening to Be the Change on WLTK-DB.com. My name is Kristina Bloom, and I'm your host for the show. Today, you might notice I have a different background. I am coming from location from a healing studio in northern Wisconsin, and I am really, really excited about today's show. We have acupressure practitioner Sherry Husky on our show today, and boy, you guys are going to get so much information. Get your notebooks ready. Get them ready because there's a lot of information coming your way. I do have a couple of quick announcements, and I'm looking at my notes here because I am not going to remember all this, so I'm cheating with notes. I have a couple of quick announcements here. The WLTK-DB.com is paranormal talk radio. Any shows that you miss, you can listen to on either the radio's website or the Facebook page. If you want to listen to my shows, I haven't done enough yet to be able to get to the big boys, which is YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn and so on. And but you can find other shows there. There are so many shows on this radio station that are amazing. And if you miss the live shows, you can go back and listen to the replays. We're also on podcasts. There are a lot of podcast outlets, and I don't remember all of them. So when I do remember all of them, I will be sharing those with you. If you missed last week's episode of Be the Change with activist Logan Jacobson, you can rewatch those on the Facebook page for WLTDB. That's a lot of letters. Or the website for the radio station. All right. I am really excited about today's show. And I have brought this up before, and I will bring it up again. I brought it up on other people's shows and on my own about how the pandemic is not about the virus. It's about change. It's about making sure that we step up and start changing what we're doing, because I think the entire human race is insane. We are destroying our own environment. We are destroying our own bodies. We are doing all of these things. And then this virus comes along and makes us stop. And we had to stop. We had to pause. And in that pause, many people are starting to realize that they need to adjust the way that they're doing things. So we're adjusting the way that we are looking at caring for ourselves. We are adjusting the way that we are looking at family time as opposed to work time. And with so many people having to work from home during the pandemic, people really started evaluating the values and how we're approaching life. And today I'm going to focus on the healthcare aspect of that, how we are taking care of ourselves while we are kind of getting through, and I'm going to say this up front. I am not in any way putting down modern medicine. Everything has its place. If I need a surgery, I'm going to a hospital. That's the way this works. And I'm fine with that. And I think a lot of other people are too. There are some people who are more, we don't ever need to see a doctor for anything, and no, emergencies don't exist and whatever, but it does have its place. It definitely has its place. However, the generations prior to ours, at least in my family, don't even question the medical system. They don't question doctors. They don't question the medications they're on. They don't even know what medications they're on in some cases, or what's in those medications. So I'm moving forward with this as a complementary thing where we're looking at adding in or maybe supplementing different vitamins, different minerals, different supplements, supplementing different modalities for healing and dealing with pain relief, where we're not just going to the pills, we're not just going to the narcotics, we're dealing with pain in other ways. And that's emotional pain and physical pain, by the way. I wanted to bring that up. As I'm just looking here, I already covered that. Boy, really, it's about taking responsibility for ourselves. We have, over the past 100 years or so, turned over our responsibility for our own well-being to other people, to a system, to insurance companies to everything but ourselves. We stopped trusting ourselves. And we are now in a position to reevaluate that and start trusting ourselves again, and start trusting our own bodies again, and start trusting how we feel about our bodies again. I am happy, happy, happy to see ads where not everyone weighs 80 pounds. We're starting to see some more different sizes being shown in different clothing. And that's part of the changes that we're going through, is leaning more towards healthy as opposed to what we look like. And I think that that's an important distinction to make. Not that there's anything wrong with being thin. There has been something wrong with shaming anyone who is not thin or who is not that thin. And it's really interesting to watch how, as we're focusing more on health, we're focusing less on skinny. I hope that makes sense. To me, it makes sense. We're paying more attention to nutrition. We're paying more attention to, what am I putting in my body and how is it affecting my health? And at some point, I will have a nutritionist on the show. But today, we're going to focus on other things. I'm just bringing up all of the different ways that we are changing what we're focusing on. We are paying attention to what we're putting in our bodies. We are paying more attention to how what we eat makes us feel. And I know that I've been doing that for the last few years. I also know a whole bunch of other people who have been. We're evaluating, is white bread good for me? I think most people would agree it's not, at least not in the United States. I can't speak for other countries. We are finding creative and interesting ways to exercise because not all of us are runners. Not all of us enjoy working out. Not all of us are in a position to be able to do hard physical exercise. We have to start where we are. And that is another thing that will be covered in a future show. And again, I'm bringing it up because it's important to understand that however you move and it works for you, then keep doing it. We all progress as we're going along. And so if you are, say, stationary in a wheelchair, you can still move your arms. You can still work on that sort of thing. And that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about, is that not everybody is going to get up and run a marathon, and that's okay. And it has to be okay. We're not all the same. And some of us don't enjoy running. Just before we went on air, Sherry was talking about the runner's endorphins, and that runner's high. I trained for marathons and never got a runner's high. It doesn't work for everyone, and that's okay. Just understand that do whatever works for you. During this pandemic, people have been outside more. People have been out hiking. People have been out camping who've never done it before. People are doing things to move their bodies in ways that they actually like doing it, to be honest with you. Not everyone is a gym rat. Not everyone likes to do that. Getting back to nature, which was my next point, was about getting out, hiking, swimming, kayaking, doing all of those things that maybe people never did before. I have friends who have been camping this year who swore they would never, ever, ever, ever go camping. And here they are out camping. And it's great. It's fun for me. Not everyone enjoys camping either. It is fun for me. Reevaluating the importance of family and friends rather than just living for your job. That is so much a part of health. It's amazing how we have, over time, handed our lives over to employers who are going to replace us 2 days after we die. I mean, it's crazy how we've done that. And people are stepping back and they're reevaluating, and we're going, hey, I don't want to live like this anymore. So we're going to have to find a new way to work. We're going to have to find a new way to get the job done without killing ourselves. That's just super, super, super important. By doing that, we're taking better care of our mental health, our emotional health. That's something that has been swept under the rug for years. It's really coming to light that mental health care is health care. I'm loving seeing some of the changes. And I don't know if you're all aware of this. There are different changes in how people can receive mental health care. There are companies, and I'm not making any money off of this. This is not an advertisement, but there are companies out there where you can join a program that it's all online or over the phone, where you can, for a monthly fee, you can talk to a counselor every week. You can text message in between, where there's support, ongoing support. And it's amazing to me to see this finally happening, because people who have mental health issues, whether it's depression or much more complicated mental health issues, need more ongoing support than the med checks once a month or whatever it is. And it's really amazing to me to see that people are stepping up and they're taking advantage of this, but also that it's all being offered. The fact that it's even being offered is a huge step from where we were a few years ago. People are consulting energy healers, Reiki. I'm trying to think, quantum touch, healing hands. There are a multitude of different types of energy modalities that people are stepping up and reaching out to for balance, for health, for mental health, for emotional health. I'm a Reiki master. I have been for a very long time. And I can tell you the difference when somebody comes in to see me and when they leave, it's like they're two different people. It's completely changes how we flow energy through. Energy is everything. And that's the other thing that we need to start teaching people very early and reinforcing it throughout education, is that energy is everything. Literally, the table, the computer, the mic, me, we're all energy. It's all energy moving at different rates. So when we understand that and we can start talking to each other in a way of, how's your energy level today, rather than why are you such a bummer? How come you're always depressed? That's a different way of communicating how we are approaching mental health and emotional health. When my energy is low, I'm not going to be up and bubbly. When my energy is high, I will be. That applies to pretty much everybody. I mean, bubbly is a relative term, I guess. Not everyone is bubbly even when they're up, and that's cool too. Another modality that I'm seeing more and more people go to is hypnosis, and going to a hypnotist to be able to release energy that's stuck and to be able to release old emotions, where we go into hypnosis and we use things like soul retrieval to bring back parts of us that are missing, or we go into past lives to start trying to understand, why do I have this pattern? I can't think of anything in my lifetime that created this pattern. Well, maybe it happened in a previous life where this pattern was something that you came back to into a human life to deal with, to be able to change it at some point. That requires a certain amount of openness for someone to be able to say, okay, I really need to get this straightened out. Why do I keep repeating this same behavior over and over and over again? There's just so many different ways that we can bring other modalities to meet medical care, to be able to meet where we are. And again, I am in no way putting down modern medicine. It is absolutely essential. It is definitely part of our society. If I'm in a car accident, I really want, I really, really, really want someone who knows what they're doing to fix my broken body. So, there is that goes on with that. There are some, oh my goodness, childbirth, not all of them are easy. Sometimes we need modern medicine to intervene and to bring a child into the world in a healthy way. I am just so excited about watching how things are changing through this pandemic and how people are reevaluating everything, absolutely everything. We are reevaluating how we spend money. We are reevaluating how we eat, how we care for each other, the people we spend our time with, where our energy is going. This is what it's all about. And I am so, so, so excited to talk to Sherry about her acupressure modality because I've had it and it's amazing. And I just want everyone to learn about it. It's really this great thing that is coming up. Let's talk a little bit more about how we are taking care of ourselves without necessarily going to anyone else. How are we taking care of our bodies on a daily basis where we weren't before? Without getting political, it would be helpful if we had more coverage, I guess, for more things like dental care, because dental care is such an important part of healthcare. But even at that, I'm reading more and more articles about how we can reverse tooth decay with energy, with nutrients. And I don't know a lot about it. There's more that I want to learn about it. But again, we're approaching things differently. We're getting back to ourselves. And when we can get back to ourselves and to those around us and understand that our connection to each other is what's going to heal the human race and to keep us going, that's so important. It is so important. The divides that we have over vaccinations, the divides that we have over politics, the divides that we have over this modality versus that modality. We need to start bringing those things together, getting rid of those divides. And that is a big part of what's happening here. I am really focusing on the positive parts of what's happening when we have to go through this pandemic. And there's another wave coming. We all know that. It's the variants and all of that is coming. How are we handling it? How are we helping each other out? There has been so much negative energy put towards, this is falling apart and that's falling apart. Guess what, folks? It's all about that falling apart. That's what's supposed to happen. All of these old systems that aren't working for the vast majority of people have to fall apart in order to be put back together correctly. The education system, the medical system, all of it, it needs to be rebuilt. And that's part of what we're doing here on this show. This show is about rebuilding. It's about rebuilding our society. It's about rebuilding ourselves. It's about rebuilding our families and our social circles to bring together all of us to be able to do what we came here to do, whatever that is, whatever that is. Some of us are healers. Some of us are teachers. Some of us are business people. And even that is changing. The way we do business is changing, and it has to change. It has to change for the greater number of people. There is just so much stuff going on, and I am babbling at this point, and I thank you for listening. I would like to, let's just go to a break, and I will come back with Sherry Husky.
Two intuitive books, one amazing author. Intuitive You. Psychic and Personal Development by Kristina Bloom. We all have the ability to tune into our sixth sense, the realm of intuition. Whether your intuition presents as a gut feeling or full psychic ability, Intuitive You will help you to fully embrace how your intuition works. Let's not forget about Kristina's newest book, Wisdom for the Age of Ascension, Channeled Messages from Divine Intelligence. Wisdom for the Age of Ascension is an updated and expanded second release of Kristina's first book, The Contemplative Truth. Kristina has expanded her reach to more light beings, enabling more information to be channeled to you, the reader. Wisdom for the Age of Ascension and Intuitive You by Kristina Bloom. Get your copies today or visit moonbowpublications.com. That's moonbowpublications.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I would like to introduce Sherry Husky.
Good morning.
She is I have it all written down here because I don't want to make any mistakes in this. Okay. So she is a registered Jin Shindo acupressurist, authorized Jin Shindo teacher, certified practitioner through the AOBTA, and a diplomat of Asian bodywork therapy through the NCCAOM. Sherry Husky. So tell me, what does all this alphabet soup mean?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited that we're here and work together on the same screen. So thanks for the introduction. AOBTA stands for the American Organization of Bodywork Therapies of Asia. It has a registered trademark, and the NCCAOM is the National Certification Commission of Oriental Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. I really don't care for the abbreviations. They're really hard to remember, and I think there's way too many of them in our world today.
I agree. I agree.
So.
Our whole world has become, what are they called? Anagrams, monogram. No, what are they called? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
It's too much. It's too much to remember.
It's way too much to remember. So I would like Sherry to start off telling us about what is her type of acupressure, which is Jin Shindo. And I would like to know more about what Jin Shindo is. And then move the microphone.
All right, thank you. So yes, that's what I practice. Jin Shindo, body, mind, acupressure, both have registered trademarks. And before I really get into just kind of a free talking, I want to give credit to the founder, Iona Marcia Teagarden, who developed Jin Shindo. And so my apologies, I am going to have to read kind of what she has on her website, just so that I get it correctly. So Jin Shindo body mind acupressure, it uses gentle yet deep finger pressure on specific acupoints and verbal body focusing techniques. This helps release armoring or chronic tension. It helps balance the chi or energy and improve vitality. This method is done with your clothes on, so a lot of people really like that. It helps relieve stress and trauma-related problems. It is a unique synthesis of traditional Japanese acupressure technique, classic Chinese acutheory, Taoist philosophy, Qigong, which is breathing and exercise techniques. A lot of people are familiar with that these days. Reichian segmental theory and principles of Ericksonian psychotherapy. Jin Shindo acupressure was originated by Iona Marcia Teagarden, MALMFCC.
So there's more alphabet soup for you.
So I could look that up if you wanted me to, if anyone has any questions. She's a psychotherapist. And it's important to note too that Jin Shindo acupressure is not intended for the diagnosis, treatment, or cure of disease, right? So like Kristina talked earlier, Western medicine is really important. And oftentimes I am referring my clients to Western medicine, or I might have them go to have something ruled out. So it is important to know that this is energy work. It is a relaxation therapy. It is a useful adjunct to licensed, qualified medical or psychological care. For any persistent pain or symptoms, even if it seems minor, we strongly recommend our clients or our audience to consult a medical doctor. When Jin Shindo is used in conjunction with standard medical treatment, the Jin Shindo acupressure technique can assist the healing process by releasing tension, decreasing stress, and encouraging a sense of well-being. And please, to learn more, you can go to Iona's website. It's jinshindo.org, www, of course, or you can go to my website, healingartsacupressure.com, and you'll find a link to Iona's website there, and you can learn everything you want to know about how she developed it, where she went. You can find practitioners worldwide. It's just a wonderful website, teachers, anything that you need to know. So that we got that out of the way. Thank you. And we can talk a little bit more freely about Jin Shindo. And
absolutely. Kathleen, you are absolutely right. Kathleen sent a message that, the main message of self-care is that we have the power to care for and heal ourselves. And all of the different holistic healing modalities serve that directive. It really serves that directive more than just going to, say, a doctor and getting a pill. It's more about learning how to heal ourselves and tapping into our own energy. And with that, thank you, Kathleen. We talked about so much stuff.
We did. I loved your intro Because what I kept hearing is change, change, change. This pandemic is happening for us.
Yeah,
Spoiler
to
alert,
us, yes.
everybody. This
Yes.
is actually happening for us. And it is unveiling a lot of ugliness and pain that people are experiencing,
Right.
not only in our nation, but globally. And
Right.
so, well, how do we change? What do we do? How do we make these
One
changes? How do we
step
make
at a
these
time.
transformations,
One
right?
tiny step at a time.
And that is
Yeah.
so beautifully said, right? Isn't it Taoist saying that the trip of 10,000 miles begins with just one step?
One
All we got to do
single
is
step.
just take one step
Right.
forward.
Take one step forward. So I would like to take a step into Jin Shindo because she's got some toys here.
I do.
Okay, she calls them tools.
I do.
And they're here, and I want her to go over some of those, and also talk about how does Jin Shindo encourage someone to take responsibility for their own healing.
Nice. Yes.
That's what I want to know, because
Okay.
that's really where we're going with all of these modalities is how do we use the modalities in order to do that?
Thank you, because that's beautiful. So, we talked about Western medicine and its importance.
Right.
However, I think our society, over the years has come to count on your physician or your nurse practitioner or whomever in the Western medical field to tell us what's going on, to fix us, to heal us, right? And yes, that is a part of it. However, everybody has the power within to know how to heal themselves. You have the power within, and yes, things can be helpful along the way. So in Jin Shindo, what we do is we empower our clients to find their truth.
Okay.
What?
Their truth. About what?
Right.
Truth about what?
And
I don't know. Just make my arm stop hurting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why is the arm hurting? That's a good question.
Right.
So any pain is probably a symptom of something deeper.
Right.
So Jin Shindo is based in traditional Chinese medicine. And so just a little bit of differences in Western medicine, we get a symptom and then they usually stop there.
Right.
Oh,
treat the symptom.
Right. Your thumb hurts. Yeah. Well, it could be arthritis. We're going to give you something. Right. In Jin Shindo, we're a little more curious than that. Oh, arthritis, inflammation. Well, what's that rooted in?
Right.
It's
rooted in my keyboard. That's what it's
and true, right? True.
Right,
a lot of that is happening. People are on the computers. They're finding more tension in their neck and their shoulders,
right,
in their hands and things. And so that's a big part of, going to see someone who does acupressure or a massage therapist or any kind of body work. I think we really need it now. So that's what Jin Shindo can offer.
Excellent.
And so what it does is it kind of takes you out of your cerebral brain trying to figure it all out. It actually puts you in a trance-like state. Acupressure releases those endorphins that you were talking about.
Right, the ones I don't get. Yeah.
Right. So if you're one of those people who maybe doesn't get those endorphins from running, Jin Shindo can offer that feeling of endorphins. So it kind of pulls you down into your body.
Excellent.
And that's, my friends, where the truth lives. And it can seem silly and it can seem senseless, but we're trained in Jin Shindo to assist our clients in following, maybe a pattern that's coming up or an emotion that might be coming up, or it can just be silly things like, it feels like a BB or something. It's just, it's listening to your body. That's what it is. It's listening to your body and finding out what needs to change. Maybe it's less time on the computer. Maybe it's what you're eating. It just could be anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's as simple as getting up and walking around every couple hours.
Very important. Movement is very important.
Movement is so important when it comes to health. So I'm seeing some interesting things here. Would you like to tell us about them?
I'd love to. So Kristina gets to stay here with me, so we're pretty excited because we're longtime buddies from 30 some years.
Right.
So she come to me and said, I've got a little arthritis in her thumb. Right.
Yeah,
and so
one just goes all the way down.
Right. So one of the questions is, because of the pandemic, can we do this virtually?
Right.
Do I have to come see you? So we know when the pandemic hit, I did start calling clients and offering virtual things. And I can teach my clients over, the internet how to hold points. And so just like a little demonstration. Yeah, go ahead. You can show where it hurts.
Okay, it mostly comes down through, there's a little knob here, and it mostly comes down through this into this part of my hand. I don't know if you can see it, down into this part of my hand. And it's one of those things where when I try to, like, like you scoop with your thumb to pick something up, like a fancy thing here, like that. But if it's heavy and it pulls, it really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to lift up my grandson, I can't lift him up like this. I have to lift him up like this with my thumb down and lifting with this part of my hand because it's too painful and I don't want to drop him. Right. So that's where that is.
Right. So now if Kristina, had made an appointment and, we were in session and there's like a little massage table behind us, I would actually have her laying down and, we would be doing a full session. However, you can do these quick little, holding points and get some relief from that. And so, she was talking about her pain kind of being in the joint here. And so what I would do is I would teach Kristina if we were doing this virtually, and I would kind of show her on my own hand, do you find this pad here? Okay. And she could come in and hold this pressure point. Now, I'm going to do it for her because I'm here, right? So this isn't where her pain is, correct?
Right.
No, it was actually
up there,
distal or further away from that. So in Jinshin-Do, we usually hold 2 points. Now, this wouldn't be a typical session because, we're holding points all over the body, but just, for example, I'm going to hold another point and it's kind of it's kind of hard to see right here on her nail, right?
Right at the lower
like the
corner
base
of my nail.
Yeah.
Of my thumbnail.
And so I'm just going to hold these 2 points, but look, we can't see your face. There we go.
That's okay.
But can you relax your arm there?
I'm trying to relax my arm, but hold it up where the camera can see it.
And so one of the things too is we want to check in with Kristina to make sure that the pressure I'm using is okay, that she can breathe and relax into that pressure. We don't want to cause any more pain.
Right. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
And so you might ask, well, how are you going to be able to help her with that pain when you're not even holding a point near it? And so as a Jinshin-Do teacher, how I like to teach it is if you could imagine that these 2 points are doors and the doors are shut right now. And so there's no energy really flowing through the doors. So if you were in a room, in a house or something, let's say it's a nice, warm, sunny, breezy day.
Right.
And there's a door on one side and there's a door on the other side. And I'm going to have you go open that one door. That might be this door here.
Okay. The lower door that she's pointing to right there.
And then I'm going to have you open the door on the other side of the room. And what are you going to notice?
That there is energy flow.
That's
that there's
right.
Movement, air movement.
A beautiful summer breeze coming through. And so basically that's what's happening here is I'm inviting these 2 doors or points to open. And when these 2 points begin to open, she's going to start to feel things changing. Right. There's that word again, changing.
Changing, yes.
So what are you noticing?
I am noticing that except for the temperature of your hands, I'm not feeling the pressure down here anymore.
All right. So what does that mean? Why she's not feeling that anymore? It might feel like I kind of let up on my pressure. A lot of clients experience that. The whole time I've actually been gently sinking in to this point that's on the pad of her thumb. So by doing that, the point starts to open, allowing the energy to flow. And then the one here on the thumb too. That one takes a little longer.
That one does take a little longer.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Good question. And that would be, if we were in session, I might ask you if there was a word or image or a phrase or anything that might come up in that point, a feeling, where the qualities of that point.
Right.
And you could even just say, what does that point feel like in your thumb?
Right now, it just feels cold.
Cold.
Yeah.
And so we would follow that. Cold. And maybe just notice if there's any other word that might be underneath or around cold to help you describe what you're noticing.
Let's see. What else am I noticing? I'm not really noticing anything else. It doesn't feel like I have any pressure anymore. Like you're not applying pressure.
It just opened.
Okay.
When you just went into that, and they're like little kids. These points are like little kids. I'm telling you, like, mom, mom, mom. And when you finally say, what? Oh, I don't know. So they're just looking for a little attention.
Right.
And just by saying that one word, cold, your point started to open. And I can feel that. I can feel it soften, and I can feel like a little energetic pulse under my fingers. And so we've probably been holding these for about 2 minutes or so.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and let go, and then just notice if anything feels different.
There's more movement. My thumb is moving more easily. It's kind of clicking when it gets to there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it wasn't before. It was, and it looks a little less swollen too.
Yeah. Cool. Huh?
So yeah,
Right.
It's a little less swollen too. So that is a really easy, I think, demonstration of what Jin Shin Do acupressure can do. And you wanted to show us something with the pencil you have in your hand.
I was holding the points for Kristina, which is the best way to do it, in my opinion, right? Let's say you aren't able to make it in. So how am I going to hold those 2 points? And so there's a couple tools. I'm going to just show you. This tool is called an Acu-Releaser. And you can get this through the Jin Shin Do Foundation. What I like about this is you can move these balls in or out. You can, put them, behind your neck here, and you can lay on them, being very careful, make sure that you're always awake versus falling asleep, because you can cause more pressure. You can use the ends of this. Say, I want to get a point up here in the chest. And it's a real nice, comfortable way to hold a point.
As opposed to.
Right. So, don't have an Acu-Releaser? Have a pencil.
But make sure you use the right end. You want to use the eraser end.
We're not going to put it over here. Don't sharpen it. And so
Yes.
for Kristina, I could guide her to, here's the point, and she could just gently lay.
I got to find the right point.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to just kind of turn your camera for just a minute so
right.
that you can see that she's just balancing that pencil. But then with her other hand, she could go ahead and catch that point on her thumb.
I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to find a way to
Yeah.
like that.
So there are, we just need to get creative, right? Isn't this what it's all about? Getting creative and changing.
Right.
There's other tools. This is a Theracane. Let's see if I can.
If we can hold
Yeah.
it back further.
There you go.
There we
That's
go.
better.
A Theracane.
And you can see it has, these little knobs. And
Mhm.
this is one I really like because I can get it to go behind and get some of the points that are in my back. There's little knobs that you could, go forward. And so there's lots of tools out there. Explore, but you can definitely do
That you can get on Amazon. You can
Can
get
ya?
one of these. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can get one of these just, I think, on Amazon or basically anywhere that sells any type of health related stuff.
Right.
I think I saw them in Walmart one day. But have you ever had that knot in your back and it's just bugging you and you can't quite figure out how to get rid of it? Those Theracanes are wonderful. I have one too. I love it.
So if a client has one and we're doing more of a virtual session, again, I can guide them to find points, and then I can tell them the other point to hold because we're looking for those 2 doors.
Right.
Right. And so again, just holding that point on the back, I do it all the time, right?
Right,
It can help
right.
relieve just getting on that point. If you want a little bit more, then, we can hold what we call distal points that connect with the point that you might be holding.
Right. Right. I've had Jin Shin Do done by Sherry before. And again, she got my shoulder moving and it was locked up tight. It was, I don't know what that was all about. I don't remember, but it was all locked up tight. And like in an hour, I had mobility in my shoulder again. I didn't have full range of motion on one session, but I had more motion and it was less painful.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
A lot of clients will ask me a common question is, okay, so, I came to see you. We did this for 90 minutes laying on the table. How often do I need to come see you? What's next?
Right.
And so a little different in Jin Shin Do, we really leave it up to our clients. Even though I've come off the points with Kristina, she might still feel them opening, right? So it's different for everybody. Everybody's different.
And I do. There's like a cool breeze coming out of my thumb. It's weird.
I love that. I love that. The chi moves in so many
Ooh,
ways, right?
Yes, yes. It's amazing. And it literally feels like there's a cool breeze running up my thumb and out the top of my thumb.
Nice.
It's very interesting.
And that was 2
Yeah.
points, folks, right? So, in a full session, you're getting many points. There's 362 points on the body. We'll not hold those all in one session.
No.
However,
First of all, how long would that session last? If you
yeah,
did?
too long.
Yeah, days. Yeah.
too long, like
So-
little panda on the movie that's got all the needles stuck in him.
right.
So
Right.
I don't know. I lost my train of thought where I was going with what we can do
Right.
for the body. But the other thing. Oh, I know. How long? Or how often do you need to come and see me? That's where I was at.
Right. That's where we were.
And
at.
so again, I leave it up to my clients. But typically, what I see in my practice is so Kristina comes in and how long has this been going on? I'll be
Right.
asking a lot more questions. I'll be holding more points that are in relation to that line of energy in her body. So I would, be doing a lot more, which will create more of a permanent healing,
yes,
if you will.
Yeah.
I leave it up to the client. I have my one-hit wonders. They'll come in and I'll maybe see them, maybe out in the community later. And they're like, yeah, that pain I had is completely gone.
Right.
But again, typically what I see in my practice, if you can come and see me once a week, great. Once every 2 weeks, awesome. Maybe once a month. It depends on you, your time, and your budget. So,
and also whatever injury you're working on, I would imagine.
Right. If, we also in Jinshindo work with the emotions, with trauma. So, if there's some old trauma, it might take sessions. I have people who see me just because they like the work and they like the touch. And when you are holding all of those points for 90 minutes, you're releasing these chronic tensions and these points, and the energy starts to flow and the blood starts to flow. It creates balance in your body. That balance overflows into your life. So, it's different for everybody. It really, it's up to you. And that's what this is all about.
So let's get into the specifics of an emotional release, because it seems to me that there are, at least I seem to know quite a few people who have difficulty with emotional release. They don't want to cry in front of someone. They don't want to show any emotion in front of someone. I can think of several people just like that, who I won't mention, who would get up off of your table and act like nothing happened.
That's okay.
And then they would go somewhere and have a breakdown.
And that's okay.
And that's okay too.
Right.
There's no requirement, I don't think, for how you react to this modality.
Everything you do on my table in my room is perfectly right and complete.
Excellent.
If you want to sleep, you sleep. If you want to engage in more of the body-mind awareness skills, we can do that. And each session might be different. So emotion. How do we feel emotion? It is really hard for people to feel emotion. And I want to talk a little bit about what does that do in your body? Right. And so our emotions live in the body, right? We were given these emotions for a reason. Emotion is energy in motion.
I love that.
So, something happened. Kristina really hurt my feelings. No, she did. She did hurt my feelings, right? And I couldn't cry at the time. So where does that go, right? It gets stuck somewhere in the body. And when we are constantly holding those emotions down, have we all been there where we want to cry and we get a lump in our throat? And what do? We tighten.
We hold it back. We swallow.
Right.
Literally swallowing your emotions.
Right. Yeah. And so, when people come in and so many of us are tight in our necks and our shoulders, a lot of that chronic tension and armoring is holding down emotion.
Right.
And so, I'll counsel or guide my clients when they come that, if an emotion comes up and you're comfortable sharing that, just know that I'm here. We're together. I never leave my clients. I'm always touching, we're present with each other. So when those points release, oftentimes an emotion might come up with them.
Right.
And remember, emotion is energy in motion. And it's okay. We can feel them. We can look at them with neutral curiosity. There's no need to serve them tea or attach to them.
Right.
We can just look at them. Sometimes an emotion might come up and we don't even know what's behind it. Sometimes we do know what's behind it. And so in Jinshindo, we are trained to assist our clients with emotions that are coming up. I don't know if this is a quote from Iona, but feeling is healing. Her second book that she has out is called The Joy of Feeling. And so when a client comes in and they're open enough and they feel comfortable enough to go ahead and let that energy move, they get off my table and they just can't believe the change. They just can't believe how much lighter they feel.
So I, as a Reiki master practitioner, I have had people on my table who will release in numerous different ways. I have had people just randomly start laughing hysterically. They don't know what they're laughing at. Nothing is even funny. And I will ask them, what are you laughing at? And they don't know. They're just like, I don't know. I'm just laughing. Okay, keep laughing. Keep laughing, because that's what's That's the energy that's moving right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I find it real interesting. If you turned the sound off
Mm-hmm.
and you just looked at someone laughing or someone sobbing, it can look really
It
similar.
looks very similar. Yes.
It can look really similar. And I love that laughter because oftentimes if I have a client and they're kind of tight in the diaphragm, right? So,
Mhm.
we're holding these emotions, and the ones that
Right.
are really a lot lower in the chakras, then we got a tight diaphragm, and I might tell them a joke. And you'll think, why are you telling me a joke in an acupressure session? Because I'm inviting you to
Release. Yes. Laughter releases that diaphragm.
laugh. Right?
Yeah.
So go
Yes.
do a comedy show, watch a comedy. Laughter is great energy moving.
Right.
There's many emotions. Some of the emotions are comfortable to feel,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the emotions are uncomfortable to feel.
Right.
So when we're, looking for, emotional health, can we feel all of those emotions?
Absolutely.
Not the ones that are just comfortable.
Well, and that's part of it too, is that in this society, it seems like we medicate uncomfortable emotions.
Oh, that's so sad.
And I'm not saying that some of those medications aren't needed.
True.
Legitimately, that some people need those medications to help balance brain chemicals and whatever. And that's fine. I have nothing against that. But sometimes it's like, oh, you're grieving, here, take a pill, rather than just letting the grieving process happen, rather than just letting the emotions move through you. And I think that's another part of it too, is that we live in a society where expressing emotion is frowned upon. Isn't that weird?
It's I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either, but I think
really
it's weird.
express my emotions on my sleeve.
I have learned to.
Yeah.
I have learned to. We do have that in the society where you're considered strong if you don't show your emotions. And that can be really detrimental to the rest of our health. As Sherry was saying, those emotions get stuck in our body and eventually they're going to make us sick.
Yes, they are.
So
Really
it's
sick
really
sometimes.
like mental health and emotional health is such a paramountly important thing to our physical health. And I love what you do with the emotional releases, because even if you don't know what you're releasing something, and you get up and you feel better, and you don't even have to know why.
That's the beauty. Right?
There's no analysis, no paralysis by analysis here.
You don't have to serve it tea.
Nope. You can just let it go.
Just let it go and just be amazed at how much lighter you feel.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
So emotions are a big part of what we do. And in my little intro of Iona's, it talked about Reichian. And so it was Wilhelm Reich was the one who discovered chronic armoring. And I'm trying to speak, layman to my audience and not use too many, medical terms or Chinese medical terms, but the meridians, the lines of energy run up and down.
Okay.
And so when we're armoring, they go horizontal. And so he'll even say tension equals emotion, emotion equals tension.
Right.
So if you have a lot of tension up here in the body, there's probably an emotion attached to that.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of us have this chronic tension.
All right. So let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will be taking some questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right.
See you soon.
Looking to launch your new masterpiece? Then try something new with Moonbow Publishing and Publications. At Moonbow, we have a strong desire to serve authors in a powerful and meaningful way. After all, you've poured your heart and soul into your writing, and we fully understand and respect that. Remember this: you will own the copyright to your work. You will have the final say on your work before published. Even after all of that, we've saved the best for last. We won't take a percentage sold. Nope, not a penny. Excited about MoonbowPublications.com yet? We thought so. Take advantage of our company's services like book editing, formatting, and covers, publishing, and photography. Moonbow Publishing and Publications has everything you're looking for in a company. Remember, we will not keep any commissions. We are a boutique publishing company focusing on spiritual, health and wellness, and personal growth genres. So come and see what we can do for you at moonbowpublications.com. That's moonbowpublications.com. Moonbow Publications, a new kind of publishing company.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I said that we were going to take some questions. So far, we don't have any. So if you have any questions for Sherry or even psychic questions for me, feel free to put them in the comments and we will get to those. What else? There was something else that we talked about last night that I wanted to bring up on the show about the Jinshin Do, and I'm trying to remember what it was. You had talked about the meridians. Can you tell us what meridians are?
I'd love to tell you what meridians are. It's funny because when I was first introduced to the word, I was like, meridians, what are people talking about? Energy, chi. I mean, I didn't know anything. And so meridians are these invisible lines of energy. They have been, scientists have gone and put little machines on them and monitored where the energy is. You have 6 on each side. Actually, you have 12 on each side for a total of 24 bilateral, all moving up and down. And so people usually are familiar with the term acupoints. There, like I said earlier, there's 362 points. Where the energy comes closest to the surface is what you would call an acupoint. And they're all over the body. And so in Jinshin Do, we're trained to know what the points are, what the points do, how they talk with each other, which really blows my mind. I mean, traditional Chinese medicine goes back 5,000 years.
Right.
How did they know this? How did they know that point on your leg, like leg sanrei, they used to hold before they would take any long trips, and it really nourishes the muscles?
Mm-hmm.
How did they know that this other point, a gallbladder point up on the bottom of the knee, helps release ligaments and tendons? I mean, it's just amazing what these points can do. There are also 4 other lines of energy we call extraordinary vessels. And so besides the 12 on each side, there are 4 more. They actually borrow points from these meridians. I'm kind of talking a little advanced here. And then there is one that goes midline and up the back. And so you were asking me about what is the difference between like Reiki and acupressure?
Right.
Was that one of the questions?
Right, that was one of the questions.
Right.
So what is the difference between an energy modality like Reiki or, there's a bunch of them and I just went blank. There's a bunch of them. But what is the difference between a strictly energy modality and acupressure?
Right. Good question. Energy is energy, and there's all different ways to access it. So I am not a Reiki master, but I've received Reiki and it's wonderful. And so Reiki is working with 7 chakras, is it? 7?
Yes, 7 main chakras.
Right. And so those chakras are on the midline, which is one of the extraordinary vessels that we work with in Jinshin Do.
Okay.
So, you're working basically with the chakras, and they are really powerful points in the body. And that's why Reiki is so amazing and why it feels so good. Acupressure is a little different in that we're working more with the meridians.
Okay.
And with the meridians, everything goes with it. This is what I love about it. It's so holistic. An organ is going to have a body part. It's going to have a taste. It's going to have a smell. It's going to have an emotion. It maybe have an attitude. So, when you come in to see me, I would be asking her more questions about this thumb. Right. One of the things I might ask is what her energy level is like, is because where she's having the pain in her thumb is on one of the meridians that has to do with energy.
Okay. That
And I might ask you, what your emotion is. Do we have a question?
We have a question.
All right.
So Kathleen's question is, what do you recommend as self-care via acupressure for people who are in quarantine, either to prevent, heal from, or deal with after effects of COVID that they can do for themselves? For example, breathing issues, taste and smell issues. That's a good one because I've heard a lot of people talk about the taste and smell issues.
Right. I know. I'm very curious about that.
So intuitively, let's go into some Jin Shin Do.
Right.
What could you do, having the knowledge that you have and activating it intuitively? How would you help someone with that issue? What would you recommend?
Well, I'd ask a lot more questions to start, so we already know that this client has had COVID, and what are the after effects? Like, you were saying, Kathy, about the breathing, the taste, and the smell. So I would ask more questions, and then I would go to the meridians that have to do with those things.
Okay.
Taste, smell, breathing, anything like that. And then again, we'll come back to our tools. So we could do a virtual session, and then I could teach you, or as a matter of fact, I know this lovely gal who's asking this question who does have some knowledge in Jin Shin Do, and I could even guide her to do a release on the person she's inquiring about.
Right.
And again, so we've got our tools, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to guide you to, Jin Shin Do 30, lung 1.
Okay.
Right? A breathing point. And then I may, guide her to other points. The lung, I'm going to see if I can do this. Right. It starts here and it runs down the inside of the arm, right past where we were working with Kristina, and then ends here at the thumb.
So we would apply pressure here.
Perhaps. Yeah.
And where do you say here?
Yeah, it's more
Here.
in here.
More
And I
in
probably
here.
would work some other points along the way.
Okay.
But actually, I love what you're doing, because the point here on my thumb is going to access the point here in my chest.
Right. So it opens both doors.
So it opens both doors. So that would be a really
Okay.
easy way to do this. And then there's other points that I could guide, on the back, and to find out what's going on with this
Right.
client. What was that like to have COVID? What's going on? Is there a feeling behind that, a word behind that? Because this is traumatic, you guys.
Right.
Like, this change is been really, really hard on a lot of people.
Right. It absolutely
It is
hard
and,
on a lot of people.
and and I kind of want to go back to that emotion and that chronic tension we were talking about.
Mhm.
That's there for a reason.
Right.
And it's really important to honor that in any client. And I'm not going to bang down the door on Kristina. Come on, girl, feel. No. Well, I might with you.
Yeah. I'll show you what I feel. Bring it, Yeah.
But it's important to really meet the client where they're at. And you talked about that earlier
Mhm.
today, that just meet us where we're at. Everybody's okay. We're all enough right now. We're doing our best.
Right. Right.
We're doing our best.
And I think that has been such an important message through COVID, through this whole pandemic, is that we are enough exactly as we are.
Right.
We are enough. Every single one of us. We are enough. And to be enough there, I know so many people, probably everyone I've ever known at some point has felt like they were not enough of something, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not talented enough, something, where we've all gone through that in our lives. And really, this has, again, given us the opportunity to just kind of stop the whole world and reevaluate everything. And so this is Jin Shin Do. Acupressure is a tool that can help us release some of those things that are maybe making us more susceptible to being sick.
Yes.
Or wearing down our energy, holding on to those emotions that we just haven't released. Whether you judge emotions as good, bad, whatever, but holding on to them is exhausting.
It is
And
exhausting.
so being
and
able
heavy.
to, and heavy.
Yeah.
So being able to release those emotions is really paramount to be getting healthy.
Absolutely.
Whether or not you have had or do have COVID is not really the point with that. It's more with everything else. There's this releasing of the energies that we're holding on to that are heavy. And when we can release those, then we can move forward with our health.
How do we change? How do we change? How do we move things? How do we release things?
Yeah.
That was how we started out. Well,
Right.
Jin Shin Do is an opportunity to make that change.
Right.
Jin Shin Do is all about transformation. I being an example of that. I used to be in terrible pain, getting steroid injections in my back, on antidepressants, and I am thrilled to share with you today that I am on no medications and I am free of any pain.
Excellent.
No, I'm 50, maybe 54.
Something.
54, no meds. No meds,
Yeah.
healthy eating, healthy lifestyle. knowing when there's enough, checking out our stress level and making changes. I came from Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's brilliant and in many ways, but for me, it was a very toxic place. And so I'm thrilled that I found something different that I feel like I can be more helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to throw in one more element, and Sherry really excels at this, bringing joy into your life. Finding joy outside your back door. Of course, if your backyard looked like her backyard, you would have no problem finding joy. I promise you. We need to do that. We need to find things that we can be joyful about, because that helps to break up the stuckness. I don't know a better word for that.
Well, I love what you're saying, because stuck lives in the wood element and joy lives in the fire element.
Right.
And in the birthing cycle, wood births fire.
Right.
And so when we're angry, upset, frustrated, trying to control everything, we're really holding on into that wood element.
Right.
And when we release that, it births joy.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Sherry for being here today. We have come to the end of our hour. I did not get to do a guided meditation with you, so I'm just going to leave you with, just take a minute, close your eyes, breathe, feel it. Breathe into your belly and feel it. And as you release, just let your muscles relax. And as you're relaxing, we're going to take you out of this show. Thank you and have a great week. I will see you next week.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful day.